Today's show is brought to you by Speaking Finance. If you're thinking about a personal loan, then they are the people for you. Whether it's a big truck or a small car, Speaking Finance will take care of all your needs. Oli, you're looking for a new 7-seater or maybe a 2-litre 2-seater for you and the misso?
Yeah, absolutely, Rob. The old hatchback doesn't do it anymore. Got all the Don's merch there ready to pack in, so just need something bigger and need to reach out to some finance because Lord knows I can't afford it.
That's fair enough, mate. Now, listeners, make sure you visit speakingfinance.com.au. That's speakingfinance.com.au. All right, let's start the show.
I mean, it's nothing new that I'm the one who's carrying this podcast anyway, so...
Simply must play.
There's nothing more likely than a bloke who takes a hanger, missing a set shot straight after it.
Yeah, give it a listen.
Acting as if it's like a normal thing to do with salt and vinegar chips.
I'm in a mood, Rob.
How is this the little bonus content with Kevin Sheedy?
Who are we playing this week? Who cares?
I reckon I'm 0 for 3 with creating segments at the moment.
For the love of God, don't lose to Carlton.
A Sunday cruise is the Dons' dispatch of an irrelevant North Melbourne outfit. The boys were clinical as they kicked 20 goals for the second time this season. This is the Sash, definitely not the official podcast of the Essendon Football Club. I'm your host, Rob, and it's a full house here at Sash HQ. I've got Oli, I've got Mert, I've got Damo. How bloody good, boys?
It's always good starting the week with a big win, Rob. I love goals. I love goals.
That was fun.
That was fun, Merty.
Yeah, it's incredible what kind of turn up we get around here after a win, isn't it?
It's amazing. It's amazing.
I haven't done a podcast with Oli
Very
in
fair weather.
2.5 years, I reckon. I haven't done a pod with Oli.
Yeah, I reckon.
Are you the downhill skier of the podcasting fraternity?
Let's just, I am very dependent on results. I feel like I give more to it when we're on the up. But, no, I'm just kidding. I actually like to lay the boots in when we're down.
That's good. That's good. All right, so the Dons are great and North is bad. Thanks for listening, everyone. This is the Sash and we'll see you later.
Yep.
I got some bad to speak
Yeah, look, pretty great yesterday. Bit of housekeeping before we get into it, boys. Of course, thanks to our premium subscribers via the Horde. Go check out our YouTube channel if that's something you're interested in. Fellas, cheers to my birthday presents. Turned 30 on Thursday. Cheers out to Sam Draper for the lovely video that Adrian organised, which was awesome. I felt like it's necessary for me to tell this story. You guys are obviously aware of it because we spoke about it on Friday, but I feel like the listeners need to hear it. So our friend Adrian from the Debrief went to the Bomber shop on Friday to pick me up a present. Got me a nice Don's jacket, not the one I'm wearing now. This is another one I got. I might wear it next week, but this is another one I got given as a
Love
gift,
that
which
one,
is nice. Yeah,
Put them on rotation.
This is the retro one. It's got Speak Heels in the back. I'd turn around, but then you won't hear what I'm saying. So it's got Speak Heels in the back, but this is good. So he went there. He bought the Don's jacket. Great. Nick Cox badge. Tick. Bucket hat, tick, and then as he was leaving, the guy at the shop goes, "Oh man, you can have this complimentary mug that we're giving away." I'm not sure if you've seen, but what do you think the mug was, Oli?
The mug? I have no idea.
Yeah, so it was a David Zaharakis 200 games mug.
You're kidding me.
Apparently can't get rid of the Bomber shop at the moment, so we got one of those.
They were actually selling it as ashtrays.
Yeah, I don't smoke, but I might have used it for that. So poor David. Apparently the 200 mugs aren't moving.
He had a great game though. So.
He was awesome. He was awesome.
Is it a standard size mug? Something bigger?
It's pretty standard. I didn't bring it in. I'll bring it in next Monday.
Bring it in next time.
I'll hold it up on the camera for the YouTube audience. They can see it. But yeah, look, great night all around. Thanks everyone.
Thanks for the free drinks.
No worries. Thanks for wishing me happy birthday on the page. So that was good. Let's get into the game. Enough about me, fellas. I want to start with this as a headliner for the episode, and then you guys can just run with where you want to go after that. I want to talk about Andy McGrath because it's been on the agenda for quite a few weeks that he has been absolutely butchering the pill, and he went at 100% efficiency yesterday.
That's huge.
That's huge. Do we owe him an apology, or we just say, well done, do it again next week?
I think that's what we go for, the second option there. We don't want to go too hard.
Never going to apologise and admit fault.
Yes.
No way.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. The thing that I want to bring to the attention of the listeners, what I did love about... Now, look, all right, North Melbourne's pressure was non-existent. Most of our midfielders were almost above 90% for most of the game. What I really liked about it was, yes, when he did have the ball to kick it, he used it really well. He got 3 goal assists, hit guys perfectly inside 50, which was great. But around the ground, he made the right decision And what he was doing was he was handballing it much more than we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
So I went through the stats from the last few weeks. So round 9, he had 15 kicks, 12 handballs, went at 70%, which is all right. Round 8, 11 kicks, 14 handballs, 72%. Round 7, 19 kicks, 9 handballs at 50%. That was the real poor one.
Yep.
Round 6, 11 kicks, 10 handballs, 50-50, went at 62%. And then round 5, although it beat in the wet, 18 kicks, 12 handballs, 56%. So what I liked is, when he had to kick it, he did well. But he looked at people who were in space, looked at a better position, and he also looked for guys who probably had better kicks than him, like a Parish, like a Merrett. Massive tick for me. I think it's the best game he's played this year. So.
Yeah, correct. It was very reminiscent of almost his first season or first 2 seasons. There were a couple of times at the contest where one time actually he was in the motion to like chuck it over his shoulder, and then he hand passed it back and really set us up to go forward. So very happy.
Anyone else got a good they'd like to go with? That's mine. So
well,
feel free.
Just on to McGrath, I think something that never ceases to amaze me. I know we've spoken about it before, but it's just how quick his hands are. He's lightning quick. Like his ability to actually gather a contested possession and then dish off, like before you've even realised that he's taken it, is something to behold. So
I think he has been a bit unusually fumbly this year, and a lot of it's probably, I don't think he started off the season well, so a lot of it's probably about confidence to start with.
For sure.
But, you're right. It was good to see him back to his best on the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was flying. Who wants a good? Because he's mine, so who wants to start?
Jaden Leverty. I just think that guy's going from strength to strength, and when you see him taking those kind of contested marks in the back line, and I don't know how many he took, but there was a number of them. At back, I actually thought Francis didn't have a great game. I thought he let the ball get out the back a number of times and he didn't manage to affect the contest enough. But, I think it really helps when we've got now kind of 3 or 4 guys playing a pretty similar role, playing it in tandem, helping each other out, zoning off when they need to. And, we've said it a number of times this year, but I never saw this coming at all. I never saw a defensive move being made successfully, but by God, he's playing absolutely off his tits. So.
Yeah, he's putting together some year.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's just nice seeing him just fit and not
Yeah.
injured.
I know.
touch
Touch
the podcast table. 7 marks, 1 contested, 6 uncontested. But I don't know. He just
I'm really
seems
surprised about that. I thought he had.
I don't know. We've had this discussion before where like a mark that I would deem to be contested, they just because like a guy isn't like completely over the top of you, they go it's uncontested.
Yeah.
But he just seems to outsmart and outposition so many forwards.
His positioning work is unbelievable.
Yeah, and he's good at using his body. He's good at using his body. He's tough. And look, North Melbourne aren't great. They're the worst team in the comp, but he just showed up a lot of their guys time and time again when it went down there. So, massive tick for Jaden. Who's got one?
I've got the performance of our kids. So just throw Perkins, throw Jones, throw Coxy into that.
Chuck Hind in there almost?
Yeah, Hind as well. I mean, he's taking his game to another level. Yeah.
Isn't he like 22?
No, he's 27.
Yeah.
Hind.
Yeah. But he is a first year player for us, so we can give it to him anyway.
I thought he was like 22.
He's 26.
Fuck, that sucks.
Benjamin Button.
He's still got 6 good years left in
I
him.
was thinking he had 12.
Yeah, I think especially in that first half, Keys, they were all, really exceptional. I think, Coxy was a bit quieter. I think Perk was a little bit quieter as well in that second half. But when the game was more so in the balance and when we're really turning it on, it was largely because of those guys.
Yeah. And I know this is a point that gets done to death, but like Cox matchup wise, when he pushes, like he's got such a good tank that he can, present himself as an option running forward. And then, what winger who's typically 180, 190 centimetres at best is going to be able to match up with him when he's burning them for pace.
Yeah. And I think that really showed in that, I think it was the first goal, or maybe the second goal, he kicked, and Langford was coming at centre forward and he floated it to him in the air so he could really maximise that.
Yeah.
And it was the athletic ability to be able to run off his man and actually the pace and all of that to get there. But 2, it was also pure size.
Yeah, which is so, we've said it 1,000 times, but it's just what a breath of fresh air to have these guys in the club and performing. It's a really, really exciting time watching them tear games apart like that.
And all 3 of them hit the scoreboard.
Yep.
So Coxy got 2.
Yep.
Archie kicked that absolute stellar.
That was so
incredible.
good.
That was Hollywood.
That was the hottest thing I've ever seen.
I've said it before. The guy's taking a pay cut by playing footy.
Yeah.
Should be out there just babing it up.
Yeah.
He can do both. He does do both.
Chris Hemsworth out, Archie Perkins in.
Oh, he's shit tons better than Chris Hemsworth.
And, well, you're talking about the young boys. Harry Jones, 3 goals
good.
straight, just gets it done.
Signed a 2-year deal today as well.
Exactly.
Or announced at least.
Should have been 10-year deal, but
Yeah.
anyway, 2-year deal's
Lock 'em
great.
away.
Just like, what is he now? 10 goals won or 11 goals won since round 1?
13-1.
13-1.
13-1 since round 1. And he copped a harsh pile on. People are bloody, blaming our loss to Hawthorn on a first gamer. First gamer in his second year. And, he was always, in his juniors, he was always kind of thought of as a reasonably accurate kick. And you can just put that down to adjusting to the big stage on debut, having a few of the yips. Ever since then, he's been really, really, really reliable.
Yeah.
So
tongue
good.
twister.
Yeah, he's been bloody great. Damo, go on.
Oh, my God.
I thought 7-seater Peter was really
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll take
And
7
he's
seats.
actually
titanium.
surprised to see he's 24.
Yeah, he may have an old head, but he's young.
And he's
Unbelievable.
clearly one of our best set shots in the team. If not,
Those
he's pretty close to
those
number 1. I reckon.
2 kicks from outside 50 just absolutely just flushed them.
That second one especially,
Oh, yeah.
really hit it nicely.
Straight over the umpire's head.
And if it wasn't for Goldie clocking him in the head, he probably could have had a fourth. So
Yeah, exactly right.
Did he get cited for that?
probably not. I don't think you can
Why
get
not
cited
even
for hitting Essendon players.
On that
There's your
point,
dog of the
so
week.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So we've just raised Peter Wright there as being a good converter in front of goal. Harry Jones, we all know how good Waller is. Kyle Langford's pretty accurate when he lines up. All of a
Andrew
sudden,
Phillips never misses, apparently.
Darcy Parish is also a really good set shot as well.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden-
Paco 50 out of the boundary.
Yeah,
Pocket
Paco
him.
miss him straight out in front, but when he's on the boundary, 100%.
Never missing.
So all of a sudden, we've got a bunch of guys within the forward line who are actually converting. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this is the best our forward line has functioned for a while. And scoreboard probably reflects that at the moment, given that I think in the competition we're second for points scored.
And last year we were 14th. So to think that we were 14th last year, we lose Joe Danaher and Raz, and we bump all the way up to second. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that
It
was
shows you what a good coach can do. Huh?
But it was
I remember advocating for certain things all of last year,
Yeah.
last few years.
yeah, but that was it. Like pre-season, every pre-season write-up about Essendon was how they're going to score goals.
Yeah.
And, before certain moves had been made, we were sitting there going, is Jimmy Stewart going to kick goals? Is Lafferty going to kick goals? And then they go back and we're all sitting here going, we're not going to kick any goals. We're going to be the worst team in the comp. And then, everyone's contributing. It's an even load. It's a good spread. And like you said, you just back these guys in to kick the shots now. I mean,
think it's
Kale has his moments, but that's his Kale.
Yeah.
He's heart and soul. He can do what he wants.
I think it's pretty, it's not often that you see a team that has those kinds of players as well when you've got like legitimate height in your forward line.
Yeah.
And like we know how good Kale has always been whenever the ball's in the air. And I mean, he's almost the shortest out of all of those guys now. He'd be, 196, 197. Harry Jones would have that. 2 metre Peter has that. Coxy has that.
Yeah.
So
Kale's a midget.
yeah. But
Same then. Yeah.
I think once we really start seeing, and you mentioned Damo that 7-seater Peter hasn't, been clunking all of his marks, and he hasn't. But I think that's a confidence thing. So if he can actually get that down pat and start taking some of those marks, because he obviously played a great game, but he still missed a few that he should have taken.
Yeah.
He starts doing that. We keep seeing Harry progress. I'd actually like to see us almost try and, I thought in that second half especially, we weren't really trying to use Nick Cox that much, and that'll just come obviously with the more games he plays and the more we look for him.
I think the ball spent the whole time on the other side of the ground. Like I was on the wing that he was on, and
but
look,
he really, because I was, more or less, I was close to behind the goals.
Did you have him for 15 touches? Because the guy sitting next to me did, and he was losing his shit when he was on 14 with a minute to go.
No, but
I did.
he was. You can see how far he pushes forward, and he's often sitting around almost a forward pocket, if not
Yeah.
up to a half forward flank. And I felt at times we'd have the ball on the wing and it would have been a great kick to just isolate him because he's sitting on a bloke who's 187 centimetres.
Yeah.
So I feel like we could do that a bit better, but I'm sure that'll come.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd like to see him demand the footy a bit more.
Yeah.
There was definitely times where, look, last 5 minutes, we just stopped playing. We just held the ball and just were like, yeah, let's just ride out the end of the game. Even in that scenario, I want to see him demand the footy because, like you said, he had plenty of times, you have one-on-ones. It's a clear mismatch.
Yeah.
Maybe in this first year, he might get out body by someone who's smart because he's not very heavy. But, years 2, 3, 4 and onwards, like this is a guy who teams should be going, how the hell do we play against this bloke? That's what you want to be coming out of it. Back to 7-seater real quick. He's had 2 really good games this season, albeit against probably 2 of the worst sides in the comp. He's bashed North Melbourne. He beat up Collingwood. I want to see this kind of performance against a better side now.
I think it's just confidence for him, and he's just going to build it up.
Yeah. Like it'll be look, we know next week's going to be very, very hard.
He's not concussed and he's going to be available next week? Do we know that yet?
I'll listen to the post-match
okay.
with Truck, and he said, no, he's all fine, just getting a couple of
Just sporting a shiner.
Yeah. I think he's got a thick head.
Yeah, good.
Old 7-seater Peter. I mean,
Good titanium melon.
Yeah, I was going to say they come with a bull bar on the front, don't they? So that's how he rolls. Someone else that I thought had a really good game was Kyle Langford. It's funny, he can do things that'll make you pull your hair out, but then 5 minutes later he'll do something quite amazing. You're like, I didn't know you could do that, Kyle.
Yeah, it was exactly that. That piece of play through the middle where he just kind of wrong-footed everyone and then just kind of streamed forward. And I was like, that is so different to the bloke who just turned it over 4 times.
Yeah, exactly. It was like Messi skinning a few guys in La Liga. He just sort of wove through them. And I was like, who is this man? Is Joe Watson still playing? What the hell's going on?
Well, that'd be nice.
And then as well, the forward craft as well. Snapped a goal. Obviously, the reliable Mark go back set shot we know he can do.
He's always bobbing up for goals.
Yeah. Well, I
think he's been playing a lot more forward though as well.
Yeah.
The last couple of rounds since Paco's been out.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it is a bit of I'd say it's an issue. It's a conundrum going forward. Is that I feel like with him, Paco, and Waterman all playing, I feel like you can't really have all 3 of them playing those roles because we saw Waterman push up a little bit this game and obviously still got on the end of it. But I feel like you can't have all 3 of them kind of doing that.
Yeah.
And right now, I think it's pretty clear that probably Kyle and Paco are the best of the 3.
I didn't realise how quick Waterman was though.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Over a short speed, little burst.
That goal off
that roost.
I just couldn't believe it.
It's like he's
one step,
he stabbed at it. It's like his leg didn't even go up that high, and then it just sort of kept going.
I think
guys,
he's got huge upside, Waterman.
Yeah. No, he's got ages to go. So
me too. Can we chat about Darcy Parish?
yes,
Yeah.
It's taken us a while.
Yep.
Boy, oh boy, where do we begin? So he's polled a perfect 10 in the Coaches Association vote. So that puts him, I think.
Did he? I thought he got a 9.
I thought it was a 10. Oh, there we go.
I know he topped it, but I think he.
Let me just double check.
All right. So
It's a 9. You're right, Rob. Yep.
1 point to Rob.
Well
Thank
done.
you.
Well done. Anyway, so he's polled
for you. Yep.
Don't mind that.
Really prepared there.
Really like that. So he's come in with a 9. At what stage are we talking about him in a conversation for All Australian, if not already, and in line with the top flight midfielders?
I think Zach Merrett's ahead of him in All Australian, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think to this point he's had a more consistent year.
I think so too.
And I actually reckon Zach Merrett is one I wanted to talk about, and we'll talk about that later. But I reckon he's quite underrated across the entire league and probably also amongst our supporters because he just does it week in, week out.
He was so good yesterday.
But I think,
and he's the one who's playing through the tag all the time. So,
but I reckon with Parish's game, it was kind of similar in what Rob was saying before about Andy McGrath's game, in that he seemed to, because he has been prone to a few, direct turnovers or the occasional brain fade, on, as well as a whole lot of incredible stuff as well.
Yes.
But I thought he really played within himself.
Yeah.
On yesterday, he didn't, go for any outlandish kicks. He didn't hit every target, but he didn't make any huge screw ups, and his hands were just as incredible as they always are.
Yeah.
So I
So
thought
clean.
that was just such a complete game from him.
Yeah, he's he's ninth for disposals overall in the comp. He's third for total clearances. He's second for centre clearances. And he's 13th for score involvement. So
unbelievable numbers.
It's a good patch. And remember, he was playing forward flank for the first 3 games.
Yeah, it's funny when once a player sort of breaks through, for a couple of weeks in a row, that 30 disposal mark, it just sometimes clicks for him. And of course, it helps that now he's being played full time in the position that we've wanted him to be playing.
He can never go
that
back.
long. No, absolutely not.
I'd much rather Dylan Shield be playing on a half. And it's interesting.
100%.
Shield has actually been saying he's actually been,
He's forward craft.
Yeah.
Which and look, if he's willing to embrace that role, because I think we just need to be playing Darcy as the first choice full-time midfielder. He's shown that he's
got by far and away the best hands in our team. And
it's his reading of the contested play, like in close, like
and uncontested as well. Like he's so good at getting that loose ball.
Sort of reminds me of like a Rory Sloane. He doesn't have burst away pace, but he's just ability to. He's just this similar stature type player, and his ability to read the play and just
even reading off Goldie's tapping. Unbelievable.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Like I felt the ruck battle was pretty square. Like obviously Phillips got a
Phillips beat him.
Yeah, I don't think it was major one side of the other, but Parish's ability to read off someone else, which we know when we come against the real big sides can be quite an issue. Was superb. So. Yeah, he's definitely in the conversation at the moment. He's polled a few best ons, so people saying Smokey for the Brownlow, but I mean, who knows who the umpires go after?
Zach's a real Smokey for the Brownlow at the moment.
Yeah,
Zach was great yesterday.
He was just everywhere.
Even his kicking.
His first quarter was unbelievable.
But it's also, and something that doesn't always get recognised, is just his running. Like
he
just doesn't stop.
Yeah,
and he
so quick.
Like he gets the 1-2s and all of that, but the reason he gets those is because he just runs through players. He just keeps running, and like when he doesn't have a hard tag on him, like he didn't yesterday. Then it just really can leave them open. And in the first half when it was there to be won. And we killed them. It was largely because he was just so dominant.
Yeah, he was everywhere. Like whenever we needed someone to be in the link coming out defensive 50, there he was. When it was in the middle, there he was. When it was going forward, there he was. Like he's just always there. And it's just good knowing that we're starting to, I mean, a few years ago we speculated about this, but now I actually feel like we're starting to build a real strong midfield core where, all right, is it are you going to tag Parish? Are you going to go after Merrett? Is McGrath the issue this week? If he doesn't get you the other one, will kind of scenario. And, you look at all the great sides there's ever been, it's never just one guy in the guts who's led it. There's 2, 3, in the real great sides, there's 4 of them. And those 3 in particular, and, if Kyle can keep playing good footy as well, there's another guy who helps out. Obviously, Paco is a bit of an X factor, and then Dylan Schill as well. It's like, this is a really good group. And what's Zach, 20? Zach's 25, is he?
It'd be about that.
Yeah, so you've got guys, they're 25 and under, those 3 alone. Like, this has the potential that if we keep them together, this is a generational midfield.
Did you see the comment from Nick Giannopoulos on the Essendon?
That was so good.
I'm not going to do it justice, so I won't read it out.
Nick, reply to my DMs on Instagram because I want you to come on the show.
I'm pretty sure he lives around the corner.
Well, I've DM'd him. I've been left unseen. I've been left unseen by Nick Giannopoulos.
I've seen
him.
He
looked at me and went, not hot enough. Swiped away.
I've seen him at IJ a couple times, so I'm sure he's around the corner. We can get him down.
Yeah, we need to get him in. I feel that'll be good value. What was his comment though? What did he say? You don't have to do any kind of impersonation.
We might need to call Dr. Nuff in.
Okay. Was the word malacca used at any point?
Close.
Who else is in the goods? I mean, just about half the team. I thought Zaharakis had a really, really good first half.
I was really impressed with Zaharakis' game, and even there was one time where Langford should have given it to him to have another shot on goal, but I was really impressed with Zach's game, so no longer the whipping boy for the week.
Yep, Zach was good. I think Snelling as well.
Yeah. Snelling was great.
Yeah. Snell was really good.
Yeah. I don't know, just like these like times that I'm just like, oh no, he's gonna like butcher the ball, and then he just finds a way to hit that perfect little pass to somebody. And
I don't see that with Snelling at all. I don't get that. I feel very safe with the ball in his hands.
Well, I think I used to feel like that. Now I'm starting to change because I feel like last year in particular I was a bit like, where's this gonna go?
Yeah,
now
he had a couple of shockers last year.
Now I'm a bit
he's
like
a workhorse as well, like just constantly pushing the pace,
tackling and pressure as well.
Meatball.
Our pressure was really good yesterday. I think just an overall good for me was actually our handball game. Just in general, I feel like I think it was my criticism last week with the Freo game. We just weren't hitting handballs. But
I really noticed that, I think, in the third quarter when they were starting to get on top of us, that I know we practice it where, we practice basically rolling along the ground handballs and whatever way you can do it to basically get it to your player.
Yeah.
But by God, the number of times we handball it to people's ankles or just way below them, or don't even look at it and kind of do almost a look away handball and, it goes nowhere. It's just incredibly frustrating.
There were a couple of those yesterday,
Yeah, there were a few in the third.
Although if I remember right, I think Nick Hine pulled off an absolute mint one at one point and everyone sort of clapped him. So he was another one, kicked his first goal for the club, which
He's
is
just
nice.
so good. I think another positive is his inside 50s.
Yes.
Yeah. Really lowers the eyes.
He timed the ball so well.
Just a dart, just a little dart.
Now, he's got to be an All-Australian chance.
I think so.
100%.
I think so. I mean, I'm also of the opinion that the All-Australian can get stuffed and I don't care. And I just want to see the side be good. Like I know it's nicer for players to get rewarded, but after years of just like me getting really hyped into it and be like, this guy deserves to be there, I'm also of the opinion it's just like...
Burned one too many times.
I don't care. When, guys like Luke Darcy are picking it, I'm just like,
It's mental.
Put a proper small forward in there.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the thing. We're going to... The way the common race is this year, they're going to be like, here's the forward line. It's got Harry Mackay, Taylor Walker, Josh Bruce...
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who else is up there in the Coleman. They're literally just going to put all 6 in the forward line and go, there we go. All Australian. Yay.
They'll have Dusty on the half.
Darcy on the half forward flank.
You can bet your bottom dollar.
Yeah, speaking of forwards in the All-Australian, Tipper, just a lazy 3 goals. Number 1 small forward in the comp right now. Just getting it done. He's not even trying at the moment. He didn't even get out of first gear yesterday.
No, well, he definitely didn't for the first half.
He was getting tagged yesterday.
Was he?
Yeah, by Kane Turner.
Really?
From the first bounce.
Really?
Bloody hell.
I mean, I wouldn't know who Kane Turner is sitting on level 3, so thanks for enlightening me.
And
he was pretty stiff, to be fair. Like, he basically didn't get a touch for the first half, and then Tipper obviously got
Peter Wright's
7-seater Peters, one in the last, and then a couple of others.
Look, there was a few junk time goals. I mean, the whole last quarter was junk time, to be honest. But it's just getting it done, just kicking goals. That's all that matters.
That's it.
Just getting the job done. Real good as well. The crowd, I thought, was really good. 33K for the graveyard shift at Marvel.
That's a great crowd.
Well done. Yeah, well done to everyone who went.
Because there was no one in on the second level.
Yeah.
From what I saw. The third level was absolutely packed.
The corporate fat cats.
Yeah. Dogs.
Corporate fat cats. I was on level 3. It was absolutely chockers. It was a zoo. A lot of kids asleep, I noticed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Were they North Melbourne supporters?
No, they were just really young. And like mum and dad were we're going to the footy, and way past little Tucker's bedtime. And I'd look down, and there was just a kid just in the curled up in a ball.
I saw a guy wearing a Bintang singlet, and he had an Australian-made tat on his arm.
He's a god.
He was.
Was he a Dons fan or a North fan?
I think he was a North fan.
Okay.
He didn't have any recognisable memorabilia or
no Coxy badges or
no Coxy badges.
Sure, he just didn't stumble in from Southern Cross Station, just a bit lost.
Oh, he could have. He looks like it. It's a pretty interesting kit, given it's almost winter, middle of winter.
Yeah, it amazes me how many blokes you'll see either just wearing a playing kit with nothing under it, not carrying a jumper, sometimes wearing shorts, and they seem to be really hot and sweaty. And I'm like, it is 10 degrees. What do you want? And 2, how are you surviving? This is...
And 3, give me some.
Yeah. Good crowd. It was a bit quiet where I was sitting, but again, mate, that was just the children who were asleep. I know, these are just my thoughts. I got a few bads. 440 fixture is absolute junk.
Just Sundays as well.
I'm okay with the early Sundays. I'm okay with an early Sunday, a 1 and a 3 I'll deal with.
1 and a 3 I can go.
440, that is just... junk. It's just junk.
Marvel as well.
That's just save that for the West Australian teams.
Particularly if you lose, you're in real areas.
Oh,
you're in trudging home at 8 p.m.
And also, the trains are a joke.
Oh yeah, because
it was 15 minutes and they haven't put in any extra services. It's 15 minutes for a train.
Yeah, that's no good.
There were there's 30,000 people on the platform at friggin' Southern Cross.
Yeah, because I think one of the lines was down, so it was just everyone was going
Yeah.
I think all the lines are down. by the
Yeah,
sound of
in
it.
one
Conductor's
direction.
dog of the week.
Yeah, conductor's dog of the week.
Metro trains.
Metro
Failing
trains.
again.
Dogs.
Mate, they've been
Get
the
your
dog.
shit
Of,
right.
They've been the dog of my lifetime, basically.
You know they set the train temperature at 23 degrees
Oh,
flat.
not this.
Sultry.
That is stinking hot. 23 degrees.
There's a lot of bodies as well.
It's
Shit ton of bodies and everyone's wearing a friggin' suit.
I was going to say, it sounds like my girlfriend works for Metro because at her house, 23 degrees. If I try and adjust that, I get barked at.
23 degrees
way.
is
I
so
get
hot.
yelled at. I'm like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "It's freezing in here." And I'm like, "I'm in shorts and I'm in my Bing Tang singlet sitting in your apartment. This is
mind.
way
A
too
whole lot
hot."
easier to get warmer than it is to get cool.
Correct.
If I'm sitting down, I'm going, like, I'm north of 25. What are you, James?
Listeners, let us know what's
22.
22. Yeah.
No, but-
what's your dial set to?
I reckon about 21 with, a packed train.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think my dad spoke about this, and then Dad wrote a letter to.
I wrote multiple.
Got nothing back.
It's fucking bullshit.
I would love, if anyone does work for Metro and you get involved in the letters that get sent in, please share some with me because I would love to read that. Like, letters to the editor Metro edition would be berserk.
My name is Mert.
My name is the train is hot. I'm not happy. The surface at Marvel is junk. People slip over way too much. I sound like an old man.
That's true. Happened heaps in the Freo game as well.
Yeah.
Tipper also needs to just get some longer boots and
yeah,
stop going
longer
to ground.
studs.
It does my head in.
Can you get some stilettos maybe? They might help him just grip in.
Maybe.
Yeah, I could say that.
Yeah. And the lapse in the third term was a bit disappointing.
Yeah.
It was disappointing, but there's also positive to take out of it.
Which is what?
Well, that we were able to adjust.
Okay.
So truck. I thought it was pretty
I think you're throwing it back on me. I was like, what are we talking about?
pretty self-explanatory, Rob.
Yes, okay.
Because we fought back and we started kick more goals, which we love.
Yeah.
No, I think Truck said in the post-match that what really impressed him was that they actually changed the game style or the technique at three-quarter time, and the players were able to adjust.
The in-game adjustment.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's pretty big from such a young side to be able to do that. So
Yeah, and that's probably something that we haven't seen too much of.
Never.
Especially not. I was actually concerned coming into this week because we've played some pretty rat shit footy in the last few weeks. It's really gone back to that stagnant kick down the line.
Particularly
no one
last
moving.
week, yeah.
Yeah, particularly last week. Yeah, I think it was good to see that we actually took the game on. It seemed to work. Obviously worked well through our midfield for most of the game. And our delivery up forward was really good.
Well, back onto that point, Damo, I think it's a really good one you raised because you look at some of the games that where we're in with a chance to win this year, but ultimately got run over. Your Hawthorn, your Sydney, your Carlton, all of those games involved
Giants.
Yeah, Giants as well. All of them involved bulk periods of unanswered goals going towards the opposition side, and just having the ability in game to correct that. You'd hope, obviously, at a quarter time huddle that the coaches can make the necessary adjustments, but even what I want to see next is for it to happen in a game, like within a quarter, like the leaders to step up and say, we've just conceded 3 on the trot here. What do we need to start doing? Get some direction from Heppel, from someone else to just start slowing the ball, killing the ball.
I don't think it's slowing the ball though. I don't think it never works.
I never said I had the answers.
But whenever I see someone just hold it up or be slow down when you're seriously facing it,
agreed.
I've never seen it work.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but I think there's got to be something better.
How many did they kick in a row? Was it 3 or 4 in that
It was
third?
a
Don't look
fair
at me.
few.
It was
they
a
got
couple.
within 40 points.
Zerha got off the leash a little bit.
He had
he had like a 5-minute patch.
Yeah, someone sitting behind me just goes, "Yep, here comes 10 goals in a row for North," and everyone went, "Oh no."
God, that really would have ruined the Sunday.
Yeah, but look, I mean, despite that moment lap, I did enjoy the fact that at no point did I feel like we were going to lose. Like, I was very calm. Normal Essendon, I feel like there would have been a moment where I was like, "Oh God, we are going to bottle this," and then we'd scramble and we'd just fly over the line. Whereas this felt like, from 5 minutes onwards, we just had them at arm's distance. And I was like, "Don't worry about it."
How good is it that North are so shit?
Oh,
Their
garbage.
disposal was, I reckon, the worst I've ever seen.
Loose ball, Aaron Hall, no good.
They're just shocking. Like,
I almost feel bad.
Kane Turner is in their leadership group.
I don't know who that is.
That's
Didn't
exactly right.
Kane Turner finish like third in their best and fairest?
sounds like a
last year or
singer.
something?
That
Yeah, was
probably
he-
even sense.
was he- was
he's
he-
one that used to get done for like drink driving a couple of years ago.
Ah, I thought he was the beatboxer on Australian Idol.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, Kane Turner.
Yeah.
Who am I thinking of?
No, that's Joel Turner.
Joel Turner.
Yeah.
How do I know that?
Shout out to Joel Turner if he's listening. Whatever he's up to.
I actually thought that they isolated Dyson Heppel a bit, and they seemed to almost prefer to, if they were going into their forward 50, almost sit it on top of his head at times.
Yeah.
There were a number of times when they were kind of sitting back like near the boundary, and they just lobbed it in right on his head, and he had marks taken over him. So
Yeah, well, he was kind of, I mean, like, he was kind of going backwards into it at times.
well, he was sitting under it, but
yeah.
I just thought it was, you know, an interesting tactic, because it was clear to me. It seemed clearly like a tactic that
Yeah.
they used on Heppel, and I thought, you know, he had 26 disposals, so you
had
think
a-
from that he played a decent game. But
I mean, I thought it
I
was-
really
I thought it
didn't
was
think
fine.
it was.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm being overly critical, but at the game, I thought, you know, I thought his disposal was relatively poor, and I thought there was a clear tactic to try and sit it on his head and almost go through him.
Yeah, right. Yeah, big Tom Campbell posed a bit of a problem at, you know, I guess in that third quarter at points.
He's a big boy.
I just look, you know, if we look ahead to this weekend coming up, I feel the one thing that's still a real issue for our backline is just the big boys. The real big boys just seem to get, you know, just cause issues amongst that group.
Six-seaters.
Yeah, the six-seaters.
Opposition
Yeah,
six-seaters.
the opposition six-seaters. And sadly, we're coming up against three of the absolute best of them on Saturday.
Give Zach Reid lots of steaks.
Yeah, lots of steak.
Heaps.
Yeah, a few
Best of the lot.
few-
Yeah,
few
get the
vodka-
best of the lot in. That's what I want.
the best of the lot. That's his new nickname now.
The lot.
The lot. Zach the Lot Reid. Get him in. Yeah. I feel like considering he's already had one baptism of fire, we don't need to send him to bloody Perth after having glandular.
Oh, yeah.
Considering he probably weighs about,
Yeah,
you know,
infect them all.
yeah, considering he weighs probably the same as a jockey at the moment.
Taller than the horse.
Yeah.
Who's he been smooching? It's the kissing disease, isn't it? Glandular.
Is it?
Yeah, he's gone up for his big debut at Brisbane.
But he would have played on the weekend, wouldn't he?
Did he?
He was clear of that, I think, last
Okay.
week.
I don't know if
last week.
I'm not sure if he
In the Viffle.
I'm not sure if he
We'll
played.
find out, won't we?
Yeah, we will find out, but I'm fairly
We
certain
were all
he
supposed to
didn't.
go to that, weren't we?
I was in a state on Saturday, so I could not.
Yeah, I was too.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Yep. I'm just going to say
Yeah,
yep.
It's been a problem every Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it's my 30th. That's what happens. Anything else we want to speak about, gents, for 10 minutes while we wait for ball?
Yeah, Mason Redmond.
Yeah.
Having a great
Oh,
year.
huge.
Yep.
Yeah. How have we not chatted about Mace?
Red Dog.
I think there's a lot.
Love
we
Red
can chat
Dog.
about.
Red Dog.
Loving him.
Yeah, there's him and Leverty. They just make me happy. They're just tough work. You know, they're the blue collar guy, and Hindy as well. They're like the three guys who epitomise our blue collar brand at the moment.
He's also got pace all of a sudden, and that pace went somewhere.
Where was it last
under
year?
Woosha. I think Woosha just crushed it.
Was he injured?
He saw the creativity in him, and he's like, I can't have that.
Can't
I'm
be
going to
having
crush you.
Tied
but-
his shoes together.
Yeah.
I know, I
You've
feel
got-
like- I
you've
don't
got
know.
confidence, kid.
Did he do a hammy last year, or was that at the end of 2019? Or am I just imagining this?
Nah.
He did it.
Nah,
Did he have a
no,
hammy
this is-
strain this year, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, no, because he did have a strain, but then it turned out to be okay.
Yeah.
What we thought was going to be
No,
a
I
10
think he
weekend
may have
was
had
No,
one
he had
last year as well.
Was it last? I thought it was year before.
This is great stuff, guys.
Yeah, this is good.
this is a good podcast.
Nice.
Let's take a
Get
break.
Danny Namoni on.
Yeah, Danny will
He'll
know.
know.
Danny
He
will know.
knows. He knows.
Let's take a break, and then we'll come back with Paul Cousins to chat all things VFL. Remember that today's show is brought to you by Speaking Finance. Maybe you're thinking about turning your bedroom into a James Hird shrine, or maybe you're just looking to renovate your house. If that's the case, Speaking Finance can help you out. Steve at Speaking Finance is a diehard Bombers supporter just like you, and he'll make sure your personal loan needs are all taken care of. Visit speakingfinance.com.au. That's speakingfinance.com.au. Welcome back. It's that time again on a Monday where we check in with Paul Cousins for the VFL wrap. G'day, Paul.
Hello, boys. How are we on this fine Monday?
Oh, we're pretty well.
Fantastic.
We're pretty well. We're very happy with the result from the senior side, but it was a tough afternoon on Saturday, unfortunately, for the boys in the VFL.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, no point skirting the issue. It was, it was rough. It was a bit of a gut punch, to be honest. But anyway, these things happen in footy, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They do. I mean, I read the report today, and they were sort of saying that because there's a lot of really young guys playing in our VFL side who are pretty experienced for any sort of football, comparatively to this North Melbourne side, and that was one of the factors they mentioned, and then generally just a sort of lack of cohesion of guys who haven't played a lot of footy together.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a perfect storm for us. We probably didn't get quite as much sort of depth of experience on the list as maybe you'd hope in the beginning of the year through sort of various factors, and then we lost several of those guys that we did get. So it's left us sort of very light on for leadership and experienced bodies on the VFL side of the list, and then of course on the sort of AFL side of the list who are playing VFL, sort of Marty came back last week, which was terrific, and Paddy Ambrose has been fantastic the last few weeks. But sort of beyond those guys, the AFL group are incredibly young as well. Like you can sort of look at the guys who are playing, week in, week out in the VFL and say, well, they had 8 or 9, AFL listed guys, which is fine, except, one of them's Tom Hurd, who hasn't played any footy in 5 years and hasn't played AFL footy. One of them's Lockie Johnson, who hasn't played in a few years. Carl McBride, who's played 3 games total in his career. And so, it's a very, unlike probably previous years, it's a very, very young and very inexperienced when it comes to Aussie rules footy, bottom of the AFL list as well. So, yeah, it was a bit of a perfect storm, probably the last couple of weeks, to be honest. I mean, I talked to you last week after the Frankston game where we managed to sort of sneak over the line, but we're very, very young in that game. And as you mentioned, North got a couple of sort of experienced bodies back this week, and we lost 1 or 2 more with Alec Waterman going back up as well. So, unfortunately, and look, when it all came down to it, they were just a better side in the end. So, you can only sort of win with what you put out there, and unfortunately, we couldn't get the job done. So, bit of soul searching this week, no doubt. But we by the same token, we understand that we are a very young group, and you don't want to sort of throw the baby out with the bathwater, as the saying goes.
For sure. Paul, Tom Hurd is one who's, in some respects been refining his craft this year after a prolonged period out of the game. How have you seen his development? I mean, I know at the start of the year he was playing more of like a small defender role, and now it seems like he's getting a bit more time within the midfield.
Yeah, he did this week. That was really his first real go with a bit of midfield time, particularly in the first half.
Yeah.
And to be honest, he's, for someone who hasn't played footy in 5 years or whatever prior to this year, he's come on at an incredible rate. He was pretty quiet on the weekend, to be honest. He didn't find a lot of footy. He didn't sort of do anything particularly wrong either. But didn't find a whole heap of footy, and probably had a fair few teammates in a similar boat, to be honest. But he'll be much better for that experience getting into the midfield. And as you say, he's been playing as a small defender where, and I think we've talked about it before, where it tends to be much easier to sort of work your way into the game when you perhaps don't know the game that well or whatever, when the game's coming at you and it's in front of you. Whereas in the midfield, it's a 360-degree position, as they call it. You've got to be able to go both ways, be able to find the footy offensively and as well as find the body defensively. And it's a whole other sort of kettle of fish. So, without, it's easy to look at numbers and say, oh, he's had 18 touches this week, it's fantastic, or he's had 11 touches this week, he was rubbish. I mean, neither of those things have probably been the case with Herdy. He's just been really solid and finding his way. And, as time sort of, and he gets more games into him and time passes, I think he'll continue to find more ball and probably be able to be a bit more offensive with it.
Yeah, good.
Someone who we speak about every time we have a chat with you, Paul, Nick Bryan. How was his day out?
Yeah, he was really good, Braza, but his opponent was probably best on ground. Okay. So it was a bit of a double-edged sword. His opponent playing so well wasn't necessarily his fault. Ruckmen tend to sort of find their own way around the ground, and they fill in holes and they do this sort of stuff. He played on Christian Cherry, who's played a fair bit of AFL footy and was very, very good. But Braza was probably, if not our best player, certainly in our best 2 or 3. So he continues to show really strong positive signs, and that was very much an AFL level opponent he was playing against. Wasn't a kid. So he was very good and continues to sort of impress and continues to develop. So when if and when the need arises for him to go back up, he'll be ready to.
Sounds good, Paul. Now, Josh Eyre and Cody Brown were 2 kids that we picked up in last year's draft. How have you seen their development and how did they go on the weekend?
Actually, Cody's really come on the last couple of weeks. He was very sort of dour in the way he played early on and very defensive, and probably as he sort of adjusted to playing against adults and frankly being back playing footy after not playing for the last 18 months or whatever. But his last couple of weeks, he started to be more sort of offensive in the way he plays and find a bit more footy himself. He's become sort of the designated kicker in as well, which I think has increased his involvement in the game because he's got a bit of a cannon leg and has managed to sort of hit the centre circle or so of Windy Hill a few times, which has been impressive. So he's really shown some good signs the last couple of weeks, which is good. It's about that time where you start to expect those kids who haven't played footy for a fair while and maybe were drafted reasonably late or whatever, but are getting into the system now. They've played with practice matches 7, 8, 9, 10 games, that sort of range. And you start to expect those kids to come on a little bit now. And Cody's really shown good signs of doing that. Airy has missed the last 2 weeks. So he's had to be honest, I actually don't know what he's had, but a very minor sort of injury of some sort. I haven't actually got across that one, but so he hasn't played the last couple, but I think he's probably due back this week would be my guess. So, nice. But prior to that, he probably got a little bit worn down, Airy. I think we've talked about before, he's a very sort of, he's an incredibly athletic kid, but he's a very light body and operates on a ridiculously low sort of body fat threshold, unlike myself. So he's probably got a little bit worn down for a couple of weeks. So whether they thought maybe they'd just give him a little rest or not, I'm not sure. But prior to that, he'd shown really good signs, and he's all the athletic gifts are really there for him. He can run and jump for bloke at that sort of size, pretty unbelievably, to be honest. So it's about for him just finding a bit more footy when he's forward and probably working on things like timing and leading patterns and that sort of stuff, which, you can only learn playing the game.
Very, very true. Brenda Thatcher's had a few weeks back in the VFL since James Stewart's returned to senior footy. How's Brandon's patch in the VFL been?
Yeah, he's been really solid. His first week back, he probably, I think his confidence was a little bit shaken after he got dropped from the AFL, which can happen. And he probably looked a little bit shaky his first week back. I think that was against Carlton and from memory, and they had a whole heap of sort of inside 50s, and he was under siege a bit down there. But the last couple of weeks he's been really solid defensively and, back looking like his old self. So he's been really dependable. I think with Zerk, the emphasis, a bit like those other guys that we've talked about, is probably on his offensive work as opposed to, he's pretty solid defensively, and I think is pretty highly rated defensively. I think where he needs to continue to work is on the offensive side of his game, certainly with ball in hand, and whether he can become a sort of a viable offensive target, coming out of the back half and using the ball that way. So he'll continue to work on that, I'm sure, but his last couple of weeks have been really solid.
Oh, good. Paul, one player who we were just discussing on air a moment ago is Zach Reid. Is he far off, do you know? Or
not far at all, I believe. So I haven't seen Reedy, but I'm somewhat reliably informed that he's pretty close. So it's not from the horse's mouth, but I think you'd expect to see him again pretty soon. That glandular fever can be incredibly tricky, it can sort of knock blokes around for a long time. So hopefully he's sort of got over that nice and quickly. I think the club were really pleased for his point of view that I think it was found really quickly and discovered what it was. And people can sort of struggle with these things for months before they figure out what it is. But I think in his case, they diagnosed it quickly and were able to sort of get the required rest and that into him. And so I think his recovery's been pretty strong. So hopefully, touch wood, we might see him this week or if not in the near future.
Exciting.
Good to hear. Now, we were speaking about one famous father-son before, but Dan Thompson has been playing down at the VFL as well for a couple of weeks now. Have you seen him, Paul?
Yeah, I really rate him. To be honest, I really like him. He's a lovely kid, I should add. I really like him he's not a kid anymore, but I really like him as a person. He's a lovely guy. But as a player, he's incredibly smart. He reads the game very well. He's unlike Bomber, he's a massive unit. He'd be, if I had to guess, 6'4" probably, and built. He's incredibly thick and sort of big through the chest, but athletic and covers the ground really well for a big guy. And he's got some AFL traits. I don't know. He played VFL footy as a really young guy, probably wasn't quite ready for it. And then went away and played local, and I think sort of discovered the gym. And now he looks like he sort of eats beefcakes for breakfast. So he's a big, strong, athletic sort of halfback type who attacks the footy, attacks the man, and he's got that sort of innate ability to read the play, a bit like Bomber did. Those who you blokes probably aren't old enough to have watched Bomber play much, but he was terrific sort of at reading the footy and getting to the contest. And Dan sort of shares that ability, and as well as being a terrific sort of team guy. So he's been a great pickup for our VFL, and I think he'll only continue to get better as the season goes on.
Great to hear, Paul. Great to hear. Now, next Sunday, the boys will be heading down to Williamstown, and considering I mozzed us last Monday, I'm just going to say there's a game of football happening, and people should attend.
Now, I have got a bone to pick with you blokes.
Oh, no. It's all on me.
Do we remember this?
That was all Rob.
It's all on me. It's all on me.
Hey, you were all in. A lot of you. There's a price to pay for this. I'm not sure what the price is yet, but there will be a price to pay, you blokes.
Yeah, there will be. Yeah, I'll put my hand up.
Yeah, Sunday down at Willie. So hopefully it's generally when we go and play at Willie, it's about 10 degrees and blowing about 40 knots. So,
yes, I know the oval well.
Yes, hopefully it's a nice, calm day down there. But it's, you know what, it's always windy and cold and whatever else. But I actually love it down there. It's a great ground and it's a good place to watch footy.
Very good, Paul. Very, very good. Well, listeners, hopefully you can get down. And Paul, thanks for joining us once again.
No worries, guys. Thanks for having me.
Cheers, Paul.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it.
Alrighty, let's wrap up a show for a Monday, guys. Also, as well, I should mention the VFLW side unfortunately also lost North Melbourne on Saturday. So, bummer.
It's a work in progress.
It is a work in progress.
Bummer.
I think we have reapplied for the AFLW license again for next year.
Yeah, hoping to get one next year.
I'm of the belief. It's baffling that we don't have one.
I don't understand why they would delay it by another year. But
They're dogs.
It's a disgrace. Couple of shout-outs, boys, just to wrap up the show. Shout out to young Alex. He came and said hi to me and I was getting a bite to eat last night. G'day, Alex. And shout out to Jimmy, who I had a chat with on the platform there at Southern Cross Station. You guys got any shout-outs?
Good stuff, fellas.
Anyone? No.
Metro trains.
Metro trains? No. Mert? No one? No. No shout
I
out.
saw that little rat of an umpire, number 32, absolutely ruined another game though.
Okay.
Weekend.
was that at
Which
Adelaide
game
Oval
was
by
that?
chance?
It was a D's game.
Was it in public or?
Is he locked up in your basement? Is that something you need to tell us about?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the umpiring we get this weekend. So
Yeah.
How about the dangerous tackle that we got done on yesterday?
at the Essendon rule, it's like Dustin Fletcher's
We always get done with it.
It's so silly. It's so silly.
Also,
Also,
Langford again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always Langford.
also a bit of general AFL. That guy from the Gold Coast who got the rundown tackle on Mitch Duncan.
You got 2
2
weeks.
It's a perfect tackle.
Yeah.
He locked down one arm perfect.
Michael Christian,
What are you doing, mate?
Jason Johnson.
dog of the century.
Go get him.
Go get him.
Get
Yeah.
a dog up ya.
Yeah, Michael. Thanks for listening, everybody. This Thursday's show, I've got a chat that I've already recorded with Cal Tomey from AFL.com.au. So if you want to get the lowdown on the mid-season draft, he's got some info on that and just a bit of a wrap on the Essendon season thus far. And then, we'll talk about West Coast and how scared I am about heading over there on a Saturday. Anything else from you boys before we go? No, it's very quiet in here. You'd think we lost. Anyway, go Dons.
Mate, we should get some beers.
Yeah,
Go Dons.
that might have helped. All right, go Dons.